What if I told you that Jannik, Carlos Alcaraz, and Alexander Zverev, the three best tennis players on the planet right now, face an opponent every January that has nothing to do with talent, training, or tactics? An opponent that has caused professional athletes to hallucinate cartoon characters. An opponent that has literally melted tennis shoes and water bottles. An opponent that made a veteran player say, quote, "I was thinking I could maybe even die here." That opponent? The Australian Sun. January 2025, Melbourne Park. A ball girl collapses on court during a mixed doubles match and has to be caught mid-fall by player Tim Putz. The footage goes viral. The debate reignites, and suddenly the world remembers what happens every single year at the Australian Open. I am Sebastian. This is the Injury Breakdown, and today we are solving the medical mystery of the Melbourne Furnace. So how hot does it actually get on those courts? When weather reports say Melbourne is 42 degrees Celsius, that is the air temperature measured in the shade. But tennis players stand on a dark blue acrylic surface that absorbs sunlight like a solar panel. During the 2018 match between Novak Djokovic and Gael Monfils, official measurements recorded 69 degrees Celsius on the court surface. That is 156 degrees Fahrenheit. Your oven when you bake cookies runs at about 177 degrees Celsius. The court surface was almost 40% of oven temperature. During the 2014 Australian Open, someone actually fried an egg courtside in a pan. Not as a stunt. The heat was genuinely intense enough to cook food. Victoria Azarenka, the defending champion that year, described it perfectly. Quote, "It felt like you are dancing in a frying pan." But what actually happens inside a player's body when the temperature spikes? First, your body activates the emergency cooling system. Blood vessels near your skin dilate wide open, rushing blood to the surface so you can dump heat through sweating. Think of it like opening all the windows in a house that is on fire. But here is the problem. Your heart only pumps a fixed amount of blood per minute. When more blood goes to your skin, less blood goes to your brain. Research has found that when core temperature approaches 40 degrees Celsius, blood flow to the brain decreases by approximately 30%. Meanwhile, your brain's metabolic rate actually increases by 10% because heat makes enzymes work faster. Less cooling arriving to the brain, more heat being generated internally. This is like trying to cool down your laptop by removing the fan while running 10 programs at once. The result? Cognitive collapse. January 14th, 2014. Court 6. A Canadian qualifier named Frank Dancevic is playing his first-round match. By the second set, his core temperature has spiked beyond safe levels. His brain is starving for oxygen. And then he sees Snoopy. Yes, the cartoon beagle from Peanuts, standing on the tennis court. Quote, "I was dizzy from the middle of the first set. And then I saw Snoopy and I thought, wow, Snoopy, that is weird. I could not keep my balance anymore, and I leaned over the fence, and when I woke up, people were all around me." He collapsed unconscious for 60 seconds. Medical staff rushed in, and then, incredibly, he got back up and finished the match. Dancevic was not some amateur. He was a professional ranked in the top 200 globally. And yet the Melbourne Heat broke him within 90 minutes. Now imagine what this means for Sinner, Alcaraz, and Zverev, who play 5-set matches lasting 4 or 5 hours. And this brings me to the injury mechanism that almost nobody talks about. Proprioception. Proprioception is your body's internal GPS system. It is how you know where your limbs are without looking at them. When a player like Alcaraz explodes laterally to chase down a wide ball, his ankle must invert and avert while supporting his entire body weight at high speed. His proprioceptive system detects the exact angle and triggers instant reflexive muscle contractions to prevent rolling. This feedback loop happens in milliseconds, faster than conscious thought. But when core temperature reaches 39.5 degrees Celsius, Proprioception starts failing. Research has documented that heat creates a 50 to 100 millisecond delay in your ankle stabilization reflex. That delay is invisible. You cannot feel it happening, but it is enough for your ankle to roll past the safe range before your muscles can react. This explains something we see at the Australian Open that seems inexplicable. Players collapsing or spraining ankles with no contact, no trip, no bad bounce. Just a sudden failure of neuromuscular control. It is not weakness. It is the physics of heat degrading the nervous system. And there is another system failing simultaneously: muscle cramps. The full picture involves three factors colliding: neuromuscular fatigue making muscles prone to spontaneous contractions, sodium depletion from losing over a gram of salt in sweat during a 3-hour match, and dehydration shrinking the space around muscle cells, irritating nerve endings. When all three converge, the sodium-potassium pump, which is basically the bouncer controlling every electrical signal in your muscles, gets overwhelmed. Ions move where they should not. Signals misfire, and your muscle locks into a cramp that feels like someone stabbing you with a knife. Croatian player Ivan Dodig experienced this during the 2014 Australian Open. 30 minutes after retiring mid-match, surrounded by 10 medical personnel, he made a statement that haunted tournament officials for years. Quote, "Today, 30 minutes after the match, I could not walk. There was 10 people around me. I was thinking I could maybe even die here." But here is the detail that should make you angry. Not all players face the same conditions. Rod Laver Arena has a retractable roof and air conditioning. When that roof closes, players compete at 22 to 24 degrees Celsius. Their core temperatures stay around 38 degrees. Safe. But Court 6? Court 8? The outer courts with no roof? Full sun exposure. 60-degree surface temperatures. No escape. Players on those courts see core temperatures rise to 39.5 or even 39.8 degrees. The threshold where everything fails. And here is the cruel math. Top-seeded players like Sinner, Alcaraz, and Zverev get scheduled on stadiums with retractable roofs. Lower-ranked players get sent to the outdoor furnaces. During the 2018 final, officials closed the roof just before Roger Federer played Marine Cilic. But Federer had warmed up with the roof already closed. Cilic had prepared on an outside court in full sun. They never asked Cilic. They just informed him. He started the match down 0-4. The officials had inadvertently handed Federer an enormous advantage. So what are elite players doing to survive? Ice slurry ingestion has become the go-to intervention. When ice melts inside your body, it absorbs energy directly from your tissues. Think of it like putting ice cubes inside a thermos. Studies show ice slurry reduces core temperature up to 0.7 degrees more effectively than cold water. Brain imaging confirms it actually cools brain tissue directly. Players also swallow tiny thermometer capsules that transmit core temperature data wirelessly every 10 seconds. Medical teams monitor in real time, predicting when a player approaches dangerous thresholds. But here is the uncomfortable truth. The heat protocols tell officials when to stop play. They do not prevent scheduling matches at 1 p.m. on a 40-degree day in the first place. Curious historical fact. The Australian Open moved to Melbourne Park in 1988, specifically because January weather was considered less brutal than other Australian cities. Climate change has completely destroyed that assumption. So when Jannik defends his title in January 2026, when Carlos Alcaraz tries to add the Australian Open to his Grand Slam collection, when Alexander Zverev makes another deep run, they will not just be battling each other. They will be battling an environment that has caused hallucinations, melted equipment, and pushed world-class athletes to the edge of death. After the 2014 crisis, Frank Dancevic said something that still echoes today. It is inhumane. Until somebody dies, they are going to keep playing matches in this heat. The science is clear. The physiology is undeniable. The human body has limits that no amount of training can overcome. The only question is whether anyone will truly listen before someone does not get back up. Now, if you want to understand why Jannik Sinner might actually be the best equipped to survive these brutal conditions, I have a video you need to watch. It explains the skinny power paradox, how Sinner hits harder than bodybuilders despite his lean frame, and why his skiing background in the Italian Alps created a tennis monster with unique physical advantages. The video is linked right here. Trust me, after watching it, you will never look at Sinner the same way again. I am Sebastian. This has been the Injury Breakdown, and I will see you in the next investigation.